set.
I'm all set.
And
Boom,
action.
Boom, boom.
You're good.
Cut.
Tail stick.
Isn't that cool? And the next morning she was by and it just burned out the wine bottle next to it.
Ready and action.
Rachel, what are you doing? Give it to me. Give me my baby.
Can't work as a low. I can't work.
Thank you so much for the reception.
What? Like this?
Action.
I got another job, Anna.
What?
I'm really sorry.
Oh. When?
It's in the city.
I thought you were happy here. You seem happy here.
I am. It's just this isn't what I do.
You have to talk to her.
I will.
It's crazy.
I know. I will. I'll talk to her.
Train's moving.
I'm all set.
And action.
I was aware that there was this tsunami of interest in a book. And I read it in 2 days, you know, which is just always an amazing sign for a thriller, that you can't put it down, that it is such a page turner. So I play Rachel, and when you meet her, she's riding the train to work every day. This is a commute she does into the city every day. We are led to believe that she works in public relations, and as the onion unravels, you quickly realize she has a severe drinking problem. And she has an obsession with this couple that she sees every day from the train. She goes past their house. They live 2 doors down from the house she used to share with her husband before they broke up, due to her alcoholism. And she's riddled with guilt and loneliness and desperation and the need for love and connection. And she finds a lot of comfort and solace in this couple that she obsesses over, and they seem like the perfect couple, the match made in heaven. I feel like the character was always a big draw for me, because I had never gone, I guess, that deep with something. And I knew that I was terrified to play her, and I think that's always a good sign for me if I'm just sort of racked with terror, that it would mean that I would be challenged in every way possible. And I think once the script really took on a very powerful form, and I could see it visually, I could see how this could work as a film, I think that's when I got really excited. I mean, I would hope that people find the humanity in this character and see themselves in her shoes, and her intentions are actually good, however skewed her perspective might be due to either the fact that she's drunk or that she's damaged, but her intentions are coming from a place that is good. And I always felt that about her, that she was just lost, just desperately lost. Well, Tate has a really good way of keeping the set really light, you know, and I think that I probably needed that with this very heavy role, is for someone who wasn't going to straitjacket me and, you know, be too dictatorial about it. I think that he gives you a lot of freedom, a lot of creative freedom, and he's collaborative in that way. And I think that's become what's really important to me, is to feel like I can have a say and have a voice and be heard and appreciated. And so that was cool, you know, with this, certainly with this kind of role, to feel that I had that room. Everybody has been on a train and wondered about the lives of the people who are on the train with them, or the lives of the people in the houses outside of it. I think we all have a sense of voyeurism in us and wonder about it. And I used to do it all the time. I used to take the train every day and look at people and wonder what the stories of their lives were and what happened to them that morning. And so I think that's why this book has had this mass appeal, because we've all done it. We have all thought those things.
The thing that made it very interesting to me was this idea of sort of gaslighting the alcoholic, you know, this person whose memory is shoddy at best, brought on by alcohol or alcoholism, I would venture to say. But I just like the idea of that kind of storytelling, where it's that sort of backward storytelling where, you know, the edges of the frame are very blurry in a lot of respects. And that was something that I thought was fascinating. The device itself of just being on a train is something I've done, you know, when I used to take the train from New York to DC or Boston, or, you know, because you do go sort of past, you know, every kind of house. You know, you go through the slums of Baltimore, you go through suburban, you know, upstate New York, you go through, you know, and there's that voyeuristic quality, you know, that you know, if the train is going slow enough, or if you're at a crossroads, you know, where you can actually just sort of sit there and gaze into people's homes. And there's something about looking into people's, it's oftentimes their backyards, which is almost more invasive in a way, because you're sort of literally seeing their dirty laundry hanging out in the back. You're seeing usually some sort of a kitchen, you know, you're not seeing what's presented in the front, you're seeing what's presented in the back. And I've done that every time I'm on a train, or, you know, or if you're in a new country or whatever, you know, traveling around. There's something. And also, you can't help but sort of project yourself into their lives. It's not your classic, obviously, hero. It's someone who is sort of stumbling through life, living in shame, you know, of her drinking, you know, and having to cover that at times, and also, you know, being compelled / obsessed with these people's lives who she really doesn't even know.
The book is all stream of consciousness, and so you're sort of in the minds or in the diaries of all three women, and it wasn't that I related with any one. They all have such different perspectives. I couldn't say that I related with one. I think I related with them all, and I think that will translate really, really well. I think that there is a little part of each of these characters in all of us. In Rachel's head, from her perspective, these two characters have what she's always wanted, what she's always dreamed of. And in reality, you know, Megan is in a very unhappy marriage, and she's living in the suburbs as a social outcast, and she's very lonely, and she becomes sort of restless and reckless. We're all flawed, and I think that after seeing this film, flawed will be the new normal, I think, you know, and in some cases, others are more flawed, but, and in this case, it's like obviously a heightened example of this, but yeah, I definitely think people will be examining their lives in a different way after seeing this movie.
Tate is an actor, and so he understands very well where you come from in a scene, because he can establish a direct empathy with you, and that is a great advantage. That is great for an actor to have a director who also is an actor, so he understands very well your process. So he really knows how to get you to where you need to get. Kamal is he's a psychiatrist, and he's a man of very few words. I think he wants to help people, but I think that he has an obsession for storytelling. I think that he loves to listen to people and listen to these women because he's also fascinated or a little turned on by their despair. There's something there. That I think that goes beyond the professional implications. I think that he loves to listen to the stories and maybe fantasize to become part of those stories. All the 6 characters in the film were all related, and I think that somehow we all know each other. We know so much about each other without not actually knowing each other, having met personally, and that I find fascinating.
She interprets this life of 2 people living happy, Megan and Scott, or she builds an idea of what it's like between Anna and Tom, and we sometimes don't even know half of it. But it becomes her real life. Equally, as Anna has no idea what's happening in Rachel's life, will build up a threat that we don't know is actually a correct threat or not. We'd have no idea. But we go so intensely into all of these people's fantasies, and that becomes a reality. And I love that. Anna's computer page, there's a picture of Evie. There's a picture of Evie anywhere, everywhere. If Anna has some spare time, she'll be folding the diaper cloths. You know, they're everywhere. Her child is her identity. It's a woman who is living a life that she dreams of and not really feeling that she can control it. And wanting so hard to have this perfect, perfect life, and she will do anything to have an exterior of perfection.
He's very lost. He loves his wife, and they had a very tempestuous relationship, and they weren't agreeing on some very fundamental things that a couple should agree on. And they argued a lot. And I think that night that she goes missing, they have a very big argument, and he's tormented by it. He's tortured by this. He keeps reliving it in his mind. So it's sort of like peeling back the layers slowly, and each layer doesn't make it more obvious. It makes it more complex. And so that's, I guess, that's the challenge with the role for me, was to not give away too much too early, and try and get the audience on side, and sort of make them question who they want to believe, because for the most of the part of the story, you have to choose who you want to believe. You don't really know the story. You don't know the facts.
I find that when it's a story about people who are kind of struggling with different kind of everyday things, there's just something to relate to in that, There's things to relate to with Anna, with Megan, and with Rachel. The story is about these women going through their everyday lives, just thinking about, is the grass always greener? And just kind of honestly dealing with life and daydreaming and thinking, what if? And it's kind of a dangerous thing, actually. It's an interesting relationship because you kind of see the history between these two women really quickly. And you kind of get that Kathy has this kind of wisdom to her, and you just see how she is with Rachel, and it's just like this really cool relationship that you don't kind of see every day.
I love to work with Tate because he is very collaborative in the way he works. He likes everyone to put in what they think, but get their sense of how they like to work and what they think is important. And I think it's a really great way to work. It's a whodunit that you're not going to know who done it till the end, and you'll be. It's just such a great, shocking, and it's. People are gonna. The worst thing is going to be spoiler alerts. People are going to find out, and I'm just really excited to be part of it.
With Rachel, I think she's a victim of her own idealism or views of it, of an idyllic life, which we all can relate to. You've got it all planned out, right? And she was going to marry the perfect man, have 1, if not 4 children, and live on the river. And a lot of times when you hold on to this idyllic setting that you're trying to create and it does not go as planned, it's often hard to accept that. Scott Hipwell, Megan's husband, he's a possessive, controlling, it always comes back to control guy who has this, in many ways, Megan is this tigress, and he's trying to catch this tiger by the tail. She's everything he thinks he wants, but she's many things other than just one thing. So it's again about control. What happens when you can't control this wild animal? You start to see that there's fissures in what is supposed to be a rock, which is the patient-doctor relationship. And he has many fissures, and you can't quite figure out what his motivations are. So of course, that makes anybody in a patient and professional situation, if it's not being played out to the T, you automatically start to wonder what the motive is there. In the book, the chief detective was Detective Riley, who was a man. And he had a female sidekick who was Gaskell, Detective Gaskell, who didn't say much. And I just thought this is such an interesting story about women, and the idea of having a bully detective be a man just felt a little easy, something we've seen before. But this is about how women treat each other and the cause and effect of women's choices on one another. So I thought it would be really interesting to have the chief detective be a woman trying to crack the story of these three women, and then to make a man be her sidekick. I thought that was fun. Rebecca Ferguson plays Anna Watson. Not only is she just a natural, stunning beauty, but she's so aptly portrays the inner struggle of be careful what you wish for because it may not be what you wanted. I really want you to walk away with a thought about the human condition. Take away something that you can relate to, that one or many of the characters have come to realize themselves. That's why I was so excited to come on board with a movie that's in the thriller genre, where you can also walk away thinking about life.
Did you know that The Hateful Eight with 3 words is the longest title for a film directed by Quentin Tarantino? All the titles of his previous films only consisted of 2 words. For example, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, or Kill Bill. What's your favorite movie directed by Tarantino? Let me know in the comments below and click here for more cool videos. Thanks for watching. See ya!